Bowl pattern in astrology explained. TheAstroKing. Bowl pattern. The bowl pattern is a significant planetary distribution pattern in Western astrology where all major planets are contained within one half of the birth chart, creating a concentrated field of experience. Like a bowl holding its contents, this pattern represents self-contained energy, strong internal resources, and a focused approach toward life. Individuals with a bowl pattern often develop through deep involvement with specific areas of life, and may seek to complete, balance, or express the energy contained within their planetary hemisphere. What is a bowl pattern? A bowl pattern is a chart-shaped configuration where all 10 major planets are located within approximately 180 degrees of the zodiac, leaving the opposite half of the chart empty. The occupied half of the chart becomes the primary field of experience, while the empty hemisphere represents areas that may require conscious development. Unlike a bucket pattern, there is no single isolated handle planet. The entire planetary group functions as a unified container of energy. Half chart occupation. All planets are contained within one side of the zodiac. Concentrated focus. Creates strong attention towards specific life themes. Internal resources. Encourages self-development and personal growth. Completion theme. The individual often seeks balance with the empty side of the chart. Why bowl pattern matters. Astrologers consider the bowl pattern important because it creates a strong sense of personal focus and self-containment. People with this pattern often rely on their own abilities and internal resources rather than constantly seeking external stimulation. The empty half of the chart can represent qualities, experiences, or perspectives that the individual gradually develops through life. Core structural breakdown. To identify a bowl pattern in a natal chart, astrologers examine the overall planetary distribution. 1. Planetary hemisphere. All major planets are located within one half of the zodiac. 2. Empty hemisphere. The opposite side of the chart contains no planets. 3. Concentrated energy. The occupied side represents the main life focus. 4. Integration theme. The person learns to develop qualities represented by the empty side. Bowl pattern geometry. The bowl pattern is identified by chart shape rather than a specific aspect relationship. The planets appear like contents inside a bowl, creating a contained and focused energy structure. The midpoint of the planetary group is often considered important because it represents the central area of concentration. Occupied hemisphere shows the primary area of activity and experience. Empty hemisphere represents missing qualities or areas requiring growth. Bowl rim. The two outermost planets define the boundaries of focus. Central area represents the dominant life theme. The opposition axis in a bowl pattern. Although a bowl pattern is defined by planetary distribution rather than aspects, the empty half of the chart creates an implied opposition theme. The individual may feel naturally drawn toward experiences, people, or situations that represent qualities missing from their own planetary hemisphere. This creates a lifelong process of seeking balance between inner resources and external experiences. Bowl pattern versus other chart shapes. The bowl pattern differs from other planetary patterns because it emphasizes containment, focus, and internal development. Bowl pattern. All planets contained within one half of the chart. Bucket pattern. Similar concentration but with one isolated handle planet. Bundle pattern. Extreme concentration within a much smaller zodiac area. Splash pattern. Planets distributed throughout the entire chart. Locomotive pattern. 2/3 occupied with a leading planet driving movement. Strengths and potential challenges. The primary strength of the bowl pattern is its ability to create concentration, self-reliance, and deep involvement in chosen areas of life. Individuals with this pattern often develop strong internal resources because their planetary energy is gathered into a focused field of experience. The main challenge is that the person may become too self-contained or overly focused on familiar areas, requiring conscious effort to explore unfamiliar perspectives. Strong concentration and dedication. Ability to develop inner strength and self-reliance. Deep understanding of chosen interests. Persistence toward personal goals. Potential challenge. Resistance to unfamiliar experiences. Potential challenge. Feeling incomplete due to the empty hemisphere. Upper bowl and lower bowl interpretation. The hemisphere occupied by the planets provides additional meaning in a bowl pattern. Astrologers examine whether the planetary group is concentrated above or below the horizon line. Lower bowl, houses 1 to 6, focuses on personal development, self-improvement, practical skills, and building individual abilities. Upper bowl, houses 7 to 12, focuses on relationships, society, collective experiences, and involvement with the wider world. Left bowl and right bowl interpretation. Astrologers also examine whether the bowl pattern is concentrated on the eastern or western side of the chart to understand the individual's orientation toward life. Left hemisphere bowl, houses 1 to 6 emphasis, often emphasizes self-direction, independence, and personal initiative. Right hemisphere bowl, houses 7 to 12 emphasis, often emphasizes cooperation, relationships, and experiences through others. Planetary interpretation in a bowl pattern. Since all planets are contained within one hemisphere, each planet contributes to the concentrated life theme represented by that area of the chart. Sun. The core identity develops through the focused life area of the bowl. Moon. Emotional security is created through familiar experiences and environments. Mercury. Thinking and communication develop around concentrated interests. Venus. Values and relationships are shaped by the dominant life themes. Mars. Actions are directed toward the areas represented by the bowl. Jupiter. Growth occurs through expanding existing strengths. Saturn. Discipline develops through focused responsibilities. Uranus. Innovation appears within the concentrated field. Neptune. Imagination and sensitivity flow through the dominant area. Pluto. Transformation occurs through deep involvement. Example: step-by-step bowl pattern interpretation. Consider a hypothetical birth chart where all planets are located between the 3rd and 9th houses. Planetary distribution: Sun in Virgo, 5th house. Moon in Libra, 6th house. Mercury in Virgo, 5th house. Venus in Scorpio, 7th house. Mars in Sagittarius, 8th house. Jupiter in Capricorn, 9th house. Interpretation: the bowl pattern shows a person whose life energy is concentrated toward learning, creativity, relationships, transformation, and personal development. The empty opposite hemisphere represents experiences that may require conscious exploration, The individual may seek external situations that bring balance and new perspectives. How to interpret a bowl pattern in a natal chart. When reading a bowl pattern, astrologers analyze the occupied hemisphere, the planets involved, and the empty area opposite the planetary group. The pattern reveals where the person naturally invests energy and where growth may come through developing unfamiliar experiences. 1. Identify the occupied half of the zodiac. 2. Determine whether the bowl is above, below, left, or right hemisphere. 3. Analyze the signs containing the planets. 4. Examine the houses occupied by the planetary group. 5. Study the empty hemisphere for missing experiences. 6. Interpret how balance can be created between both sides. Bowl pattern in personal development. The bowl pattern represents the archetype of the focused individual who develops strength through concentrated experiences. The life journey often involves discovering how to use existing talents while gradually embracing qualities represented by the empty side of the chart. When balanced, this pattern can produce individuals with strong expertise, dedication, and a clear sense of purpose.